So the hardest thing sometimes about recording is I have the camera flipped up so it looks in focus, but I pray that it is in focus. So I think we are good. Ooh, ooh, what? What with the focus? I love it. Okay. We're gonna be very casual today. Very, very casual. What people don't really talk about sometimes is when you change your life, how that changes you mentally and emotionally and spiritually. And so we're gonna talk about that today. You've probably seen, if I've posted it already, you've probably seen the video about the fact that I am a woman who has experienced divorce. I have to kind of switch it up every now and then because, you know, a lot of people say I'm divorced, I'm this, and no, boo. I am a woman. I've gone through a divorce. I'm not a divorced woman. Let's get that all the way together. Secondly, if I have posted that video already, you know that I was in a relationship with someone who was a narcissist, and it really began to degrade who I was. I began to live a life and dim my light and do things that weren't exactly what I wanted to do because I lived in constant fear. I lived in constant anxiety, and I hid it very, very well. Most people didn't know what was going on. And now that I'm out, and it's been over 3 years now, I can truly say that the life changes that I've made have been extremely difficult, but here I am, and they've been worth it. So one of those major life changes was starting keto. And starting keto was, in the beginning, it started as a partnership with my sweetheart, and wanting to feel better and lose weight and just live healthier lives. And so we watched this video, The Magic Peel, which is not on Netflix anymore, I don't think, but you can peruse the internets and probably find it somewhere in there. Anyways, watch that documentary. It all made sense scientifically to me. And so I was like, well, let's do it. Let's do it together. I was like, I can eat bacon. But what I forgot was that I had to find out substitutes for bread and candy and cakes and cookies, which still learning, but that's his own little thing. But anyway, so being on the keto journey physically, you guys know about, but spiritually and mentally and emotionally, starting keto definitely added on top of the things that I was doing to help myself as I was beginning to transition out of being, considering myself a person who was emotionally abused, and finding my own inner strength. So as a result of being on keto, a lot of things have happened. I feel like I have taken more control over my health, and by taking control of my health, I feel like I've learned that I can actually have what I would even say dominion over my health and over my life more than I thought I used to be able to. My life was very much centered around pleasing other people, and it still is in some ways, but a big part of my life was pleasing people and really decreasing my needs so that other people's needs were met. And I was not healthy. I've always been a person that was a little slender. There were a couple of times in my life where I did experience some weight gain, and it was because of stress and other things. But for the most part, I have a high metabolism, so I burn fat and carbs pretty quickly. But I was not healthy. I was not eating healthy. I was not exercising. I wasn't drinking enough water. And as a result, I wasn't getting any sleep. I was not performing as well as I could at work. My skin was cray. What? My spirituality began to take a turn for the worse. I was emotionally unstable. I was crying all the time. And yes, I was going through a divorce and other things, but daggone it, the fact that I didn't feel good physically affected me emotionally as well. So when I started keto, I can honestly tell you that after the initial first week on keto, I began to feel even more emotionally stable. And I think part of that was I was able to really cook foods that I enjoyed. And I realized that cooking it's probably about President Joe Biden. He was elected president today, so that's also why I'm celebrating as well. Anywho, so I was able to do something that I really enjoyed, and that was cooking and being creative with cooking and following all these beautiful women and all of these handsome men and all of these, amazing people who had started keto and their lives changed dramatically. And I really just enjoyed being in the kitchen, taking pictures, being creative with it. And so it really brought out this creative side of who I am. So honestly, that was thing number one, that keto made me, or keto brought out the creative side of who I am. I think the second thing that it did was bring more emotional balance, and this is why. Scientifically and physiologically, our gut is like the center of our nervous system, right? It's where rest and digest happens. It's where fight or flight happens. It's a ton of nerve endings in your gut alone, in your intestines, that fire off at any sign of danger. They fire off at any sign of anxiety or distress, right? And so when you're not eating healthy, you really are throwing off how your neurons are firing off. If your body cannot absorb the correct nutrients, if it can't emulsify fats the way it should, then you really actually will see the emotional side of that. So you may see yourself becoming more grumpy, more irritated, or irritated quicker. You may feel anxious physically all the time. I do suffer from, I don't suffer, let me rephrase that. I experience anxiety. I think we all do. I think it is not talked about enough, but anxiety is a real part of so many people's lives, right? But a lot of that anxiety is rooted in your gut. And the more I'm actually learning about the chakras and about the center of everything, and honestly how that spiritually intertwines with Christianity and all of that, you realize how much of what you eat determines your emotional state. So as I began to eat healthier and began to lose weight from around my gut, I did feel emotionally more stable. Now, it doesn't mean that I was always on the up and up. I'm human. Things happen, things irritate me. I'm still an emotional person. I'm a highly sensitive person. I'm an empath. And so I do feel things at a greater level. So because of that, I really had to appreciate how keto really brought some balance. And it still is. I'm still working on that part of my life to find out balance on how to be sensitive to people, how to balance my emotional connection to people, things, and all of the above. But keto has definitely helped with that. On top of that, mental health as well, mental clarity. And I think with mental clarity, a lot of times when you make a lifestyle change, you have to be in a place in your life where more times than not, you have made the conscious decision to live healthier and to make some permanent changes. And I think in doing that, you set the stage for you yourself to be even more receptive to mental clarity. And what I mean by mental clarity is when you live healthier, when you're exercising, when you're putting good foods in your body, when you're allowing your body to physiologically work the way it should, it really affects your focus. It affects how you work. Yeah, it affects your focus and how you work. So it really helps with your day-to-day process. So for me, I feel like it allowed the opportunity for me to get a new opportunity outside of the work that I was doing when I started. And I think a lot of that for me was realizing all of the things and the accomplishments and the knowledge that I had. My brain was so foggy pre-keto, post-divorce. It was just foggy. It was just like I was walking through clouds, and not like in this ethereal way, but in kind of this, I can't seem to figure out where I'm going. I don't know what I know. I'm just really going off of things that come naturally to me, but not necessarily being very focused on things. Listen, the moment I became focused, because one of keto really just eating right for one, and then just like having something to do outside of work, going through quarantine, going through this huge, global pandemic. What can I do? Oh my gosh, I can post these photos, I can cook, I can like entertain the world and not be in the world, not to take from Christianity, but be in the world but not of the world. Kind of living that lifestyle and being like, wow, okay. The first thing that I realized it did for me was create and bring out my creativity. The second thing I realized it did for me was to give me emotional stability. The third thing, my God, was to give me mental focus. And it was a combination of that. I have to create videos and content, so that created focus for me. I'm going to work and I'm having to make decisions on how I'm going to eat and meal plan for the day so that I don't cheat and I don't make these same mistakes. I was drinking more water. I was eating the right types of foods, the right types of antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals. There's so many other things that I'm good at and that I want to do, and I have pushed those things down because I was so mentally foggy. And y'all, by the time that hit and I was like, let me upgrade my resume, let me learn as much as I can from my current position, even though I'm not happy here, let me learn what I can, let me sit at the feet of people who have wisdom, and let me create my own path. And that is what's happening now, is this mental clarity that I've gotten from living a cleaner life has created an opportunity at a company that is so me and it is right up my alley, and the things that I'm learning, the projects that I'm a part of are the situation itself presents a better financial place for me. It presents a place where I can actually use my biology and my science background. I can use my humanitarian skills. I can use my data skills, my interpersonal skills, my intrapersonal skills to create a job that is up Sonny's alley. And I am giving a lot of that credit to keto. Now, at the end of the day, this is what I'll say about keto, especially after you watch The Magic Pill. I feel like the way that the world was created, I feel like there was a plan for everything, right? That God had his hands in everything for a reason. And that the diets of the Aboriginal people who were on the ketogenic diet, which it wasn't the ketogenic diet then, it was just how they ate. And the fact that they were healthy and their families were amazing. They had tons of energy. And the minute that sugar and all these other additives and things were added into their diets, you saw an increase in anger, and you saw an increase in chronic and acute diseases that they had never experienced before. And it really made me realize that keto is more than a physical diet. Keto is a diet that can change your life emotionally. It can change your life financially, because God knows I have a job now that is creating financial stability for me and my family, and it's allowed me to be able to do things that really feel good to my heart. And I'm gonna tell you this, when you go through periods of life, like a divorce, like losing a loved one, like a global pandemic, I'm telling you, it really puts things into perspective. I definitely lost myself for a little bit. And it's okay, but not okay. And we've all been through periods where we've lost ourselves. And we really need to just try to grab on to those things that can give you peace, even if it's momentary. Peace and hope and joy. And continue to stack those moments on top of each other. And to think on those moments more than we think about the BS that has happened. Turn off the news, turn on YouTube and find videos of inspiration that work for you. Open up a book, watch HGTV, get some ideas, daydream, do all the things that will bring mental clarity to you. Don't forget to add keto to that list. And honestly, even if you're not on keto and you don't even care about keto or want to do keto, it's cool. What I'm saying is make a lifestyle change that you can actually do. And don't be afraid if you feel like you failed. And don't be afraid if you feel like you can't complete it to 100%. Because this whole thing that we're on, this journey, every day you reach the destination you're supposed to reach. And every day you learn something new, and you can, again, add on top of each other. And as I'm talking, it's like there's so much sun coming through this window now, and it's as if God is saying, number one, that you are loved, you are beautiful, and you deserve to do things for yourself that will allow you to see how beautiful and how amazing and how strong and resilient and kind and compassionate you are. So, honestly, let's talk about the 3 things that keto has done for me. Number 1, it's brought out my creativity. Number 2, it's given me emotional balance. And number 3, it's created mental clarity and mental focus that I was needing. All right, fam, I love you. To life. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, not only to my channel, but to this video. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know how, we can help each other in this thing that we call life. It's crazy, it's fun, it's beautiful, but in my book, it's always sunny. So I love all of you. Have an amazing day, an amazing week, an amazing month, an amazing life. Joe Biden is president of the United States of America. Woohoo! All right, love you guys. Mwah.